So today, we're going to talk about alignment. We've been calling this gathering the art of allowing for a number of years. And the reason that we like that title so much is because it speaks to what your true power is, and it speaks to what your true path to that power is. Because if you care about discovering and practicing, it's why we call it an art. It's something you work at until it clicks into knowledgeable place for you. When you practice the art of allowing, what is it that you're allowing? You're allowing your alignment with the source within you. You're allowing your resonance with the energy that creates worlds. You're allowing your vibrational alignment and resonance with all that you've been asking for. The way we've been describing it to you in as simple terms as possible is that in your physical form, you are an extension of that powerful non-physical energy. And you came to explore the leading edge contrast for the express purpose of finding more leading edge. Because as eternal beings, you know, new thoughts are important, new ideas are important, new desires are important, new reasons to summon energy are important. And you also know that you can't stand still, that you can't stand in satisfaction where you are. You must keep reaching forward. You must keep reaching into more. So you came as an extension of source energy, intending deliberately to explore the variety that surrounds you, knowing that by knowing what you don't want, you would know more clearly what you do want. And you knew that contrast would be there for you to see and to choose from in every moment of every day. And so you came forth to explore, and every time you explore, even in something that is really known to you, you are still refining it and coming to further conclusions about how it would be better still. The improvement never stops, because that is what life really is about. Not because it's broken and needs to be fixed, but because it's eternal and will always be in the state of becoming. So when you get into the flow of this eternal becoming, and you begin enjoying the process of the becoming, then you no longer feel uncomfortable about the contrast, because you know it is necessary to the becoming. Sometimes people aren't so eager to express their appreciation for contrast, but it's only always because they haven't figured out how to focus, or they haven't figured out what the criteria for focusing is. If there's just a lot of variety, and you're just giving all of your attention, or wanted and unwanted your attention, then you've got a sort of sloppy focus going on, which means you've got a sort of sloppy point of attraction going on. And when you are not focused deliberately, or when you're creating by default, then you get some of what you want and some of what you don't want. And there's no real downside to that, because in that process you get more and more clear about what you do want. But if the clarity about what you do want is coming on stronger and stronger, but your ability to focus on what you want is not becoming more practiced, then you just get a bigger life, but it's not a comfortable life. It gets bigger. There's a lot more variety. You can parlay your life into really wonderful things. We've been saying to you for a while, when you know what you don't want, you know what you do want, and there's a bounce in that, because when you know what you don't want, a rocket of desire shoots out of you. And so knowing what you do want is predicated in part upon knowing about what you don't want. We just don't want you to make a life career out of knowing what you don't want. We want you to get more oriented toward knowing what you do want and speaking more about what you do want, and therefore practicing more of the vibration of what you do want, and therefore holding a more consistent vibrational point of attraction about what you do want, and therefore setting a vibrational grid that aligns with the core grid. We'll talk about grids all through this day, because we want you to begin to consciously acknowledge your point of attraction. When you have a leading edge experience out here, as you are having all day, every day, and you come to a new conclusion, all that is receives the benefit of all of that and focuses upon, in satisfying fashion, the expansion of the universe that has taken place because of what you are about. But that brings us to the most important thing that we're wanting to say to you, and that is, don't try to understand those levels of consciousness in the sense, don't try to think the thoughts that the source within you is thinking. Instead, think the thoughts that you are thinking and do your best to align yourself vibrationally with that broader resonance. If you knew how much you were wanting to be in these bodies, you would not be trying to get out of them. You would be focused here and now and achieving vibrational alignment with that source within you, you see.
Yes.
There are all kinds of things that you could think about. And we're not trying to distract you or discourage you from thinking about anything that you want to think about. But we are encouraging in a very powerful way that you understand the perfection of what is here before you, and that you understand that the manifestations that you call seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, that the realities of this time-space reality, that this manifested world in which you are living is here for you, created by you and us with enormous value and purpose. And you will never be able to explore enough of it to receive everything that it has to offer, you see. And while you're here in your physical body, your greatest satisfaction comes from that point of view, while you're keeping an ear to the ground of how we all feel about what you are poignantly focused upon here and now. So we want you to focus today, if you want to, on the concept that you are walking around all day, every day, establishing a foundation or a point of attraction, a sort of grid that will fill in, a grid. So as we're talking to you today about this point of attraction, we're going to be asking you, what are you doing with your grid? What kind of a grid have you got going on? And we want you to come to recognize that when your grid is a vibrational match to the grid of who you are. Now, what do we mean by that? The source within you. Oh, you were born into this physical time-space reality with this powerful point of attraction. You are pure positive energy. You knew your value. You know your worthiness from that perspective. You knew the reason that you were coming into this experience. You were solid and steady and sure. You knew love. You were love. You are love. You loved. In other words, just such a solid, steady grid. Nothing had diverted you from it. You hadn't seen some injustice in the world, or no one had wronged you. No one had made you feel uncomfortable. You had not yet given your attention to those things that would cause you to offer a vibration that could cause some separation. When you have a leading edge experience out here as you are having all day, every day, and you come to a new conclusion, all that is receives the benefit of all of that and focuses upon, in satisfying fashion, the expansion of the universe that has taken place because of what you are about. But that brings us to the most important thing that we're wanting to say to you. And that is, don't try to understand those levels of consciousness in the sense, don't try to think the thoughts that the source within you is thinking. Instead, think the thoughts that you are thinking and do your best to align yourself vibrationally with that broader resonance. If you knew how much you were wanting to be in these bodies, you would not be trying to get out of them. You would be focused here and now and achieving vibrational alignment with that source within you, you see.
Yes.
There are all kinds of things that you could think about. And we're not trying to distract you or discourage you from thinking about anything that you want to think about. But we are encouraging in a very powerful way that you understand the perfection of what is here before you, and that you understand that the manifestations that you call seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, that the realities of this time-space reality, that this manifested world in which you are living is here for you, created by you and us with enormous value and purpose. And you will never be able to explore enough of it to receive everything that it has to offer, you see. And while you're here in your physical body, your greatest satisfaction comes from that point of view, while you're keeping an ear to the ground of how we all feel about what you are poignantly focused upon here and now. For someone, we said you like the drama of it, because you like to feel the energy moving. So when you really know what you don't want, and you really know what you do want, when you finally find a way of no longer offering the resistant vibration and what you do want manifests, it feels really exhilarating to you. But it is equally exhilarating when you start refining your ability to discern this vibration. You want this a little. It's something that is really refined, and you come into vibrational alignment with it. So here's what we're getting at. Your ability to perceive is growing exponentially with the details that you're putting in your vortex. You see how it works? Did you follow that? It was way out there on the leading edge. We want you to get really, really, really good at discerning the subtle differences in energy. And when you're really, really good at it, those subtle differences, when they flow into your grid, will be every bit as satisfying as those big ones that you think you want. All right, now here's the big piece. Those big ones that you think you want can't happen. Those big quantum leaps that you're reaching for can't happen. Because if you've practiced one vibration, it can't fill in with another, you see. The closest thing to a quantum leap you're ever going to experience is when you feel your vortex full and you croak. That's a quantum leap. But as long as you're still here in this physical body, you really want to get good at devouring, at savoring the deliciousness of the subtleties of that, you see. So the most significant thing that we want to say to you, and we so want you to relax and know it, is that there are two ways for you to know what this relationship between who you're being right now, this red hot minute, with what you're thinking and feeling, what your point of attraction is, what your current grid is that you've got going on, and the you that's in your vortex. Two ways for you to understand that relationship. First, how you feel right now. Sometimes it's a little confusing. Esther's been listening to us for a long time. She sat on that bus in a state of confusion. She was feeling something. She didn't understand what she was feeling, and she was feeling a little bit guilty about feeling something that she didn't want to feel. And we say, are you guilty when your gas tank says empty? So guilty about that, I've put a happy face sticker over it. I don't want to read my indicators. Because what if my indicator is indicating something unwanted? Then doesn't that mean I'm inappropriate in some way? No, it means your indicator is working. It means there's something that you want that you're not a vibrational match to. So the first way is you feel it. The second way, we love you very much. It's going to manifest and it's going to be obvious. Don't you sort of like that? Don't you like it when something that you felt manifests and you recognize, oh, that's what that was about. And then you are in the perfect position. To smooth out your vibration, what we call prepave for your future experience. So as we talk to you about how you are vibrational, we want to remind you that you are interpreting vibration through your physical senses, and you're really, really good at it. It's why you see as you see and hear as you hear. These are mechanisms or interpreters of vibration that reflect back to you something that is meaningful. But there is another vibrational sensor that you have that is your emotion. We call it your emotional guidance system. That is a wonderful reflection of two really important things. Your emotions are a reflection of what you've got going on vibrationally because of what you're talking about or thinking about, what you're remembering, what you're observing, what you're fantasizing. What's active in your mind right now is one facet of why you feel the way you feel. But the other facet is you have a source within you, an inner being, who has an opinion about the exact thing that you are focused upon. Not something else, the exact thing that you are focused upon. So when you find something in your world troubling and you focus upon it and you feel worry, the feeling of worry is simply, and we don't want to diminish it, but it is simply, we want you to get the concept of this. It is simply the fact of a differing opinion between what you're thinking and what the source within you is thinking right here, right now. When you find someone and you fixate on their flaws and you acknowledge their shortcomings, even if they are obvious, even if everyone you know would agree with you, as you focus upon someone and you find a reason to diminish them, you find an opposing opinion every single time from the source within you, who no matter what you think and no matter what justification you have for your disgust or disdain for that person or situation, your inner being is still loving them. Which causes some people to say, then my inner being is more crazy than I